Twilight Inscription. I got this game as a lovely little surprise for Christmas, and now I finally get to unbox it.
Hello and welcome to The Lucky Roll, an eclectic channel for eclectic games, and today we're going to be unboxing Twilight Inscription by Fantasy Flight Games, and is a adaptation of the Twilight Imperium game, one of the most famous games in board gaming given how long and epic it is. This is the Twilight Imperium experience, but in a much more manageable way, in the sense that it still accommodates one-day players and it still takes you into the Twilight Imperium universe, but it only lasts 90 to 120 minutes as opposed to 8 to 10 to 12 to 16 hours, depending on the player count. It was a gift from James for me for Christmas, and one that I'm very much looking forward to opening up and trying. So with no further ado, let's open this box and see what we have inside. So, opening the box for the very first time, we are greeted with the rulebook, which is nice and straightforward, and there's also a play as you learn guide. So that's very interesting, that it helps you kind of get to grounds with the game very quickly. So this is only about 6 to 8 pages long. So you have the setup. You have the navigation, which I presume is you going out finding other planets to get new resources. You have expansion, which I presume is settling on them. You have industry, which of course is building up your forces. You have warfare, of course, is when you meet other players. And round 5 and beyond, which of course is getting the victory points basically to win the game, which is what you would do in the original one. And you have, of course, here a more elaborate rulebook, which is 20 pages long and is not text heavy. So there's a lot of different imagery, a well-designed rulebook here, and something that is not going to be difficult to find up a specific rule or to work on. We have here the markers, which are excellent because you have the marker itself, but you also have a rub-out part here at the top, so that if you make a mistake or if you want to use some certain parts of the things again, you can do so. You have the dice, which I have to say are excellent. These are big, huge, chunky, embossed dice. These are not printed, these are embossed. So that's a nice touch, because a roll and dice game, if you're doing a lot of rolling, you need nice dice, and these are actually gorgeous. So you have 3 black dice and 1 of other colored dice. So nice little touch there. You have the factions here, and you have the speaker token here. So we'll have a look at the old factions. I believe they have most, if not all, of the factions in this. So you have the favorites, the Emirates of Khan. These are the guys I normally play because I love being able to leverage and make friends by being able to trade with everyone. You have the Sardak Nor, who are not nice guys. And of course you have the little bit of lore here on the back. So again, it's a nice little taster for the Twilight Imperium universe. So of course, one of the things I like about this game as well is that if I wanted to get other players interested, this is a much more palatable way of getting people to try it. So you have the Abarik, you have the Nomad, you have the Winu, you have the Mentak Coalition, the Yin Brotherhood, the Barony of Lativ, the Titans of Ul, the Universities of Jol Nar, which certain players we don't allow them to play because they can be too powerful sometimes, the Ghosts of Krius, the Xigcha Kingdom, the Federation of Sol, which is interesting because one thing I noticed is that's the actual standard image from the Emirates of Khan, but they've given a fresh new human for the Federation of Sol. So it's nice that they have brought some new imagery and illustration in for this game. You have the Lingzit Mindset. So this is in the original game, but this is new kind of illustration. The Emirates of Muat. The Necrovirus, which is a very nasty little faction. The Clan of Sar. So again, this is a new illustration. the Vulor Cabal, the Macht Gene Sorcerers, the Imperium, the Nalau Collective, again a new illustration, the Nazrock Alliance. So this is good. This is one of the expansion factions for the Twilight Imperium 4th edition. The expansion is well worth it. If you're someone who's going to play the game and invest in the game, and if you play it more than once, definitely get the expansion. The expansion adds nice little layers and cool, really cool new factions. The Usaral Tribes, the Argent Flight, and of course you have asset reference cards here, and you have plenty of them, and they're double-sided. And you have strategy cards. So you have here a Fledgling Empire strategy card, First Ventures, Convene the Council, Border Conflict, Redefine Trade Routes. So, again, one of the expansion factions here. You have the Partisan Maneuvering. You have When Diplomacy Fails. And, of course, these are all new, fresh illustrations, as you can see. Bustling Economies, The Limits of Diplomacy. So, of course, they were all just poisoned. You have Divide and Conquer. You have Industrial Zeal. You have A Throne for the Taking. Empire Ascendant. Echoes of the Past. Relics Discovered. A Strong Foundation. Toward a New Home, Technological Frontier, Border Defense, Maximum Yield, Forbidden Knowledge, Rightful Claim, Desperate Measures, and of course you can see all the different symbols of the dice here, so I presume you roll and get some of these cards by doing so, and Girded for War, and again back to the factions. So some very interesting little cards here, and of course some of the strategy cards here have 5, 3, 1, and 2, and I presume 4, so I presume these strategies unlock as you play through the game. So you have here the speaker token. So let's open this and see what we have here. So one speaker token, which is the council reference, event reference. So it's a cardboard token in the Twilight Imperium board game, but it's a card here. United Front, Armada, and they seem to be double-sided. Build. Oh, no, they're not. So you have different costs here. So you have 7 and 4, and you have 4 here. So depending on what you have. United Front, again, different costs. So maybe there's an easy, hard. Secured Assets, Maximum Efficiency, Sourcing Expert, Diversified Production, Core Cracker, Technocrat, Expansionist, Collector, Mercantilist. So there's blue and green and yellow. So depending on the actual faction, or not the faction, sorry, the technology or the actual card that you would take. Prospector, you have some interesting cards here, so we'll have a look at these ones. These are Shard of the Throne, Dynamis Core, so these I presume are relics, Maw of Worlds, Stellar Converter, the Synchrotone, the Crown of Thalnos, the Quantum Core, Dominus Orb, the Codex. Now all of these have a little bit of lore as well at the bottom of the card, so what I like here is that they've gone the extra mile. They're not just giving you a function here, they're giving you little bits of kind of flavor to add to the actual card. Deluxe Architraces, Volume 1, Volume 2, the Nano Forge, the Prophet's Tears, the Obsidian, the Tyrant's Lament, and Planetary Orbit. So some interesting cards there. And these ones seem to be... these might be the council cards, because you have Homestead Relief with a Pass and Fail, Population Controls with a Pass and Fail, Technology Embargo, Trade Fleet Subsidization, Disarmament Treaty, Automated Worker Ban, Hyperlane Security, Corporate Tax Breaks, of course, yeah. It doesn't matter where you are, you'll always have corporates looking for their tax breaks. Wartime Reparations, Construction Moratorium, Earmarked Spending, and Piracy Crackdown. So some cool little things you can vote on here. And that is, of course, in the main game, one of the best things about it is the politics of it, which is why I like playing Hakan, because you can bribe a little bit of friendliness with people. And you have here all the sheets, and they are laminated, so you draw on them and I presume you can wipe them off. So I presume these are the player boards, and we have 8 of them. So I'm just going to zoom out so you can see them fully. And a lot of interesting little things here. So you have a track here, you have, I presume, different resource trackers here, space docks, the planets, objectives, expansions, neuromotivator, and they happen to be double-sided. So you have, and they're different on different sides. So you have hazardous, industrial, cultural, industrial. So it gives you a little bit of aspect. So I presume you'd be flipping the board back and forth, and they are different planets as well. So you have Quan, Tarman, Hope's End, Evera. So perhaps as you get these planets, you get these different sheets. We have more sheets here. So you have industry. So you have, again, up to 8 of these, and they are double-sided, so not the same on both sides. So psycharchaeology and AI development algorithm, and again on both sides, so a lot of interesting sheets here. You have navigation, so we have, I presume, again 8 sheets, given that there's 8 players. So they seem to be all different as well. So there's 8 different types of navigation sheets, so that's interesting that not everyone is starting from the same basis, and of course they are the opposite side, however, tends to be the same. So this side of the navigation sheet is the same. The flip side, however, is different. So that's quite interesting in that you don't know what sort of space you're going to be exploring as you play the game. That's a nice little touch. You have here, of course, warfare. And again, let's see now, are they the same? You have fleet logistics, given you have a breakdown here of what you have. And it seems to be, is it the same now on both sides? I think it is not. So I can see different kind of placements of red tokens here. So again, these sheets kind of deviate slightly. So I'm assuming that depending on what sheet you get, things will change up a little bit. So, or perhaps not. So these seem to be similar on that side, and these seem to be different on this side. So perhaps there's a starting sheet that's the same all round, and the other one, depending on what you get or dealt, is different. And you have, of course, Mechatol Rex, which is the planet that everyone in Twilight Imperium fights over. And just checking under here in case there's any other little goodies, there is not. So that is everything in the Roll and Write Roll and Write Twilight Imperium game. A very interesting little idea, and one I'm very much looking forward to trying out. But again, a roll and write game is still limited by the fact that it's a roll and write game, but I am nonetheless impressed that they give you good chunky dice, very good quality components. The instruction book seems to be the top of its game. There's nice little touches of lore, and they know that they're dealing with a beloved lore and franchise here, so they have treated it, I believe, with the respect that it deserves. As always, if you enjoy these videos, please like, subscribe, all that good YouTube stuff. And again, James, thank you for the lovely Christmas present. And until next time, good luck and God bless.